Welcome back, everybody, to another installment of, or another episode of Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian, and I'm joined by my wonderful, beautiful, illustrious, amazing, handsome co-host, Christopher Beckerson. Chris Becker. We're going to be rewinding and recapping. I don't even know anymore. We're doing something about Nintendo this week. Actually, we're not rewinding and recapping again. We will be doing a little bit of rewinding and recapping, but we're going to be talking about the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct that just got announced yesterday morning. I'm so excited. Man, this is bananas. I can't believe it. We're actually having a June Direct. But if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to click that like button and say hey, and if you're watching here on Twitch, just know that you're our favorite child. That being said, before we dive in, Christopher, how's it going, my friend? How are you doing?
You know what? I would say there's some bad stuff that happened. I forgot to tell you, I got some bad news. And then there was
bad news.
A good thing that happened. I talked to my doctor. It's not a good thing. But then I'll tell you about later. But
now you're telling me this now? Why of all times now? God.
We want to be authentic.
We'll be right back.
I forgot about it.
All right, we're back again. Anyway,
but you didn't even let me finish with the good news.
Oh my God, I was too freaked out by the bad news. You can't do that to me.
I forget what the good news was, but then I'm also optimistic. And you want to know why I'm optimistic?
Why are you optimistic?
It's not about the Donkey Kong Direct tomorrow. I'm optimistic about these ads that I've been seeing. So there's the bad news, which we can talk about more later, but then there is the good news, that was the good news. I forgot I have a delivery window between 9 and 11, so at some point I'm going to get a delivery of groceries. You're going to have to keep talking, and I'm going to have to go get it. And then
Here in body, but not in mind.
And then the optimistic thing is I keep seeing these ads for these chicken tacos at Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they're any good, but I'll absolutely try one. How about you? How are you doing?
Aside from the minor heart attack that you gave me right at the beginning of the show, and I was like, all right, we're going to a quick break. We'll be right back. Aside from that, I'm doing okay. This last week's been pretty good to me. I have no bad news to report. I've been playing a lot of video games on the Switch too. Yesterday I did a wheel of games because I didn't know what I wanted to play, and I had asked around, like, what do you want to see, to a couple of my friends, and they were like, I don't know, I never know what I'm going to play when I start streaming. I was like, okay, well, we're just going to do a wheel of games. So I did a wheel of games where I played through as many of the games as I could within a 5-hour period, playing one game an hour. Tried out ARMS, I'll just talk about it a little bit later. It is a topic in the show, but I tried out a lot of them, and most of them were Switch 1 upgrade games, and they run really well. They're so good. But I have also just been playing quite a lot of Mario Kart World, and for those of you guys who follow us on YouTube, please go check out that review. Just a quick reminder, check out the review. The review is out. You can see it in its entirety. You can go watch it. And what I would like for you to do is leave a like on it, so that way I know that you were there, because that video, I spent hours on that thing, and I need it to pay off. I need people to enjoy it. Go and enjoy it. Watch it. Tell me what you think. If you disagree with me, let me know why you disagree in the comments. But, that being said, it's been It's been good. I've just been really busy lately.
Really busy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's good. I'm glad that you. I just want the record to reflect something.
Okay.
You didn't ask me what you should play. I just want that. I just want that to be a known fact. You said you asked your friends, so
Well, I played what you would have told me to play.
fair enough.
I played
But-
ARMS. I knew you would tell me to play ARMS.
You didn't ask. I didn't.
It was on the list.
You're on the list. You're on my list.
I'm on a list of vengeance. Is that what you want? Susie wants to know if they found your absorbed twin when you went to the doctor. Is that what they found?
They did not. No, I wish that was what they found. Yeah, no, they did not find.
Oh
that.
man.
But the and you know what else I forgot to tell you?
What else?
Guess what I did today?
Also, let's just back up just a second. You got mad at me for not asking you what video game I should play on my stream, yet you did not tell me the most important news that happened to you this past week at all, verbally or auditorially.
Well, it happened this afternoon, and then I was going to tell
I
you. but
talked to
said
you
were
this
going out.
afternoon.
Yeah, it was like maybe 45 minutes after that, but you had said you were doing something.
I had to take the kids to art class.
Yeah, you had to take the kids' art class. I wasn't going to have that message find you while you're in art class.
I mean, it would have been fine. Like, I'm not in art class. I'm not the one teaching it. It would have been fine. You could have totally messaged me. I was playing Bravely Default, though. I was sitting in the hallway waiting on the kids to get out of class, playing Bravely Default on the Switch, too. I had, like, 2 children walk by, and they were staring down my hands real hard. And I was, like, gripping it even tighter because I was like, I dare you. Try something, 5-year-old. I'll fight you right now over my...
Man, I wish they would have snatched it and ran. But
why would you wish that on me? What is wrong with you?
I just wanted to see the image of it happening. I didn't want it to actually happen, just the idea of it happening. But
to answer your question, Keyword
that's
Xavier
what
in
it
the
was.
live chat, Bravely Default is pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. I want to talk about it a little bit later in more depth, but I do heavily recommend it. It's good.
What about, talk to me. What was the best thing you ate this week?
My wife made on Father's Day, because Father's Day, by the way, happy belated Father's Day to those of you who are fathers, and to those of you who had bad dads and don't want to celebrate, I can be your new dad, or Chris can be your new dad, and we'll treat you a lot better. But with respect and value. But no, on Father's Day, my wife made chicken sandwiches, which is like one of my top 5 favorite meals that she makes. So I had these like spicy ranch chicken sandwiches. They're like, they're a toasted bun, and they're like a chicken breast that's been coated in like this spicy crumbly sauce, and then slathered with some ranch, and then a slice of tomato thrown on the top, and then another bun, and then my wife makes these like homemade potato wedges with them too, and they're freaking awesome. And the kids love it so much. The kids love it so freaking much that Courtney's making potato wedges the entire time that she's trying to get dinner ready, just to be able to have enough tater wedges for them. But why are you laughing? Why are you giggling?
I almost asked, I almost asked, are there any bones in them?
Oh, there's no bones. It's a chicken breast. It's a boneless chicken breast.
That's what I almost asked. I didn't know.
It's not like a leg.
Listen, much like how Sierra said she hasn't had one of those. Mm-hmm. Courtney didn't make her one.
In the live chat,
yeah. I don't even know how they're made. I want to make one. What do you put on the outside? What do you put on the inside? What do you put?
So you put chicken on the inside, but on the outside there are no bones. But I don't know what it is that she puts on the outside. It's like this crumb. It's a sauce. It's a spicy sauce. It's not like super spicy, but it's like a spicier sauce. That's kind of like, it has crumbly stuff in it. It's like a thicker, like more tomato pasty style sauce that coats it more than just as like a glaze. And that's what she puts on the inside and the outside. She can send I don't know, like, hold on, are we recipe talk right now? Is that what we're doing?
I don't know. I mean, listen, we
Recipe
can be whatever
rewind?
you want because we're just on verdict watch right now. We're just waiting for that Karen Reed verdict. We're waiting for that. And in the meantime, we can just talk about recipes or anything else. I I still can't believe. You know what? Let me ask you this. What's a bigger betrayal? Courtney not telling Sierra about this chicken recipe, or Sierra not telling me that Courtney got a coffee maker? Which one is the bigger travesty?
On a scale on the scales of justice, maybe Sierra not explaining the fact that Courtney got one of the most amazing coffee makers that she's ever had. I think it's her. It's Sierra's done it. She's been the worst one. CC Wire, you need to ask for forgiveness. You know what? We should have a gamer sins forgiveness stream where we just like have a confessional booth for people to come in and just like confess their worst gaming sins, and we'll absolve them of them.
That's true. Yeah, she's victimized by not having a sandwich.
Father Nintendo.
You know what? Yeah, let's get her back on the phone. No, I'm just kidding. Give her a call. No, she's watching Love Island. We don't want to keep that from her.
Chris is so knowledgeable in the church. You watch Conclave, you're fine.
Yeah, I learned about it. Carpenter bread. Have you ever heard of that?
Carpenter bread? No, actually, I don't know that. What is carpenter bread?
Because you know that sort of like how they give you a biscuit and you just kind of like
communion bread.
Eat the little,
it's not a biscuit. It's like a crispy wafer. It's like a wafer.
Well, yeah, but aren't we just eating a piece of what's the guy's name? He
Jesus?
Was a carpenter.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. No, Jesus. Yeah, him.
This is my body. This is my blood. Oh,
my
man.
body. This is my blood.
You've been absolved. You've been absolved of your worst gaming sins.
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh my god.
Listen, I learned. Man. You know what, Cody? Bless you. Okay.
Thank you. And you know who else we need to thank? Here's who else we need to thank.
Bless them as well.
We need to thank Kiatic, Shinybird, Calamity Nolan, and Sierra Christian for being our producers and supporters over at NintendoRewind.com. If you'd like to directly support our content, every dollar spent on memberships and merch helps us continue to produce this show. There's even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it, you still get a shout out. Again, I want to thank our members, Calamity Nolan, Sierra Christian, Kiatic, and Shinybird for all their gracious support. Now, we need to get back.
Before we jump into the show, I have to say so the movie that I learned that you could say bless you to anybody you want, right? Is also the movie I learned. Listen, this is probably not the place, but the Pope is like a popularity contest. They're just all voting on who they want to be. You know what? What's the topic?
It's not like, okay. Before we get too deep into the Catholic woods, it's different. It's different, but we do need to get into the main topic. We got quite a bit
that different. Jesus, all right, take the wheel.
Popularity contest. Here we go. Enjoy Love Island. Guys, we got a new direct announced yesterday morning. First via the Nintendo Today app. And then later on other platforms like X and YouTube and everywhere else Nintendo posts things. While this truly is the moment for the heavy marketing of Donkey Kong Bonanza to start, is this direct going to hype us up, or is it just going to be a big disappointment, kind of like the Mario Kart World direct was? We wanted to talk a little bit about our predictions, our questions, things that we're still hoping to see, things that we feel like need to be shown to get people hyped for this, because at the end of the day, this is the very first single player experience coming directly from Nintendo that counts as an actual video game. I'm looking at you, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This is the very first single player experience coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. So, Christopher, what are we doing? What are we expecting? What do we want? What kind of questions do you have before the direct happens tomorrow? Which also, for those of you guys who are going to be awake tomorrow morning, we're going to be live 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing the direct. Gosh, if it was PM, if we went live at 8:30 p.m., we'd totally miss the entirety of the direct.
Yeah, we would. Sorry I got a little distracted.
Looking at that thrusting Mario in the live chat.
In the what?
The thrusting Mario in the live chat. You know what?
That's not thrust. I thought isn't it just like dancing? Like Bob, it's like tilting its head back.
No, he's throwing it back hard. He's throwing it back hard. You can see him in the live chat right there. Oh, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the big chatty bits, dude. We appreciate you, Keywork. We appreciate you, man. But what kind of questions, what kind of predictions, what kind of things do you expect to see tomorrow during the direct? I'm going to throw it to you for the very first thing. What are you expecting, my friend?
So before we started, I said there's 3 things, but I want to wait till the show to tell you.
Okay, just throw out one.
I'll go with number 1.
Yeah.
A Donkey Kong Bananza amiibo will be out the same day as the game. What is it going to do? I don't know. That's not for me to decide. But I think we're going to get one. What about you?
Well, hold on. Let's discuss. So
Sure.
I don't think Nintendo is still fully sold on the idea of amiibo. First off, Smash ended, so there's no reason for them to keep producing amiibos.
Just made 4 new ones.
Yes, for a game series that is known for having amiibos. But this is a new franchise from Nintendo. New franchise. This is a new version of their IP coming out, and I don't necessarily believe that they have a whole lot of reason to do an amiibo for it. I would love it if they did. Don't get me wrong. I like amiibos. I wouldn't love it if it was $40 like they are traditionally being now. But okay, first off, let's take some stabs in the dark here and try to predict what that amiibo would do.
All right, it's going to be Donkey Kong with that little thing on its shoulder, right?
Or you think it's going to be both, like Donkey Kong Odd Rock on his shoulder?
Either that or just the Donkey Kong doing the Donkey Kong pose. I think it was like where he's like busting through the wall.
Oh, he's just like punching?
Yeah.
That is kind of like the iconic key art. I would agree with that.
It'll either give you an exclusive costume or unlock it early, or it'll like give you a certain number of bananas or something each day, you know?
I'm wondering, like, as far as that goes, because you bring up one of the things that I'm kind of hoping for, that I do want to predict, is costumes, because you clearly see DK in 2 separate outfits. You see him in like this miner's outfit in the early portions of the trailer that they had done, and you see him in just his like classic just a tie outfit. And I'm hoping that there are costumes, customizable options that DK can put on. If this has as much DNA of Mario Odyssey as it looks like it has, I think there is a fair assumption to make that yes, it's going to be you're going to have costumes. But at the same time, they really haven't shown off any of the the currency system that is in this game. They've shown off the golden bananas, but there's a lot of gold laying around. I guess that could be the currency that you're picking up, but I don't know I just don't know what that is used to be spent on, or if it's going to function kind of like the way a lot of the gold coins did in Mario Odyssey, where if you die, you lose a certain amount of the gold that you've collected.
Um, yeah. That's what I was thinking. It could be like Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much exactly what I was thinking. That it would be um it would be like Odyssey where you have um either costumes or maybe if you know if those the it's not really, I mean, it's not a leak, they just accidentally put it up early. If that's the thing, are they going to get costumes for other people with you? um
Do
are they
you
going to
think
reveal
so? Kind of.
something?
Sorry.
No, are they going to reveal something as big as Cappy where you throw it and take over somebody, like all the enemies? Are they going to reveal something that big in this direct?
I feel like they kind of have to an extent, right? Because like the first one, the first trailer, which I mean I can get it pulled up here for everybody, so that way they can see it. The first trailer that played, let me get over to the actual trailer. There really wasn't a whole lot of information that was shown off in it. I mean, it was a lot of like cinematic gameplay pieces, right? Like they showed off a lot of the areas that you're going to be running and jumping through and rolling through and smashing and destroying. But they didn't even show, they showed Donkey Kong with Odd Rock on his shoulder, but they really didn't show anything relating to Odd Rock, which is the purple rock that sits on his shoulder. Part of me is really hopeful that, because what you're referencing is the Pauline leak that came from Nintendo South Korea, I think was where that one was posted. I think it was the South Korea Nintendo accidentally posted the key art that had Pauline holding on to DK's necktie instead of having Odd Rock on his shoulder, which is the key art that we've seen from pretty much everybody leading up
Pretty
to
much
this.
right there, like in the same spot where you know where they are. That's where Pauline was, and it looked like almost like a kid or like a child Pauline almost.
Yeah, like preteen Pauline. Like
Yeah, like a teen.
little
Yeah,
older than my son, but a little younger than yours, you know? Like somewhere in that
kind
mid
of
range.
like what's her name? Is it Violet from Wreck It Ralph?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's Violet though.
No, what is her name?
I can't. I know who you're talking about. The one with all the candy in her hair.
Yeah,
Um,
Vanilla. No, golly, no, I'm not annoyed that I don't remember.
chat. If you know live chat, let me know. But so yes, I think like on that topic, that was one of the things
Vanellope?
that I was Vanellope. On that topic, that was one of the things I wanted to ask about and see how you felt about it. Do you think we're going to have more partners than just Odd Rock?
Just the Odd Rock?
Yeah, because they did show off. They did show off the Pauline, but at the same time, like the entire Donkey Kong franchise has been known to show off all the different partners that DK's had. I mean, if you look at Tropical Freeze, or if you look at Donkey Kong Country Returns, or even if you go back as early as like Donkey Kong Country, it's always Donkey Kong and a friend. And a lot of times, especially with the modern incarnations of DK, you're seeing those friends giving certain abilities. You know, Diddy can help him float with the jetpack. Cranky can pogo jump off of the cane like DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck. Dixie can kind of like help him float up into the air. Do you think we're going to get more partners than just Odd Rock? I do. I personally do.
I feel like there's going to be more. I don't think there's going to be multiplayer, but yeah, I do think there will be multiple characters that you can either help Donkey Kong, or they either help Donkey Kong or you play as them and they swap out with Donkey Kong.
Here's what I think is going to happen more likely. I think this game will have multiplayer. But it will be multiplayer to the same extent that we saw with Super Mario Odyssey, where one person plays as Mario and the camera is focused on Mario and the other person plays as Cappy. And it's going to be limited to this like parent-child kind of level of experience.
I want you to dive into that, but my next thing is my groceries just got here. I'm going to take a second and grab them. But what I will say is this. I think Diddy Kong's going to come, and he's going to be a playable character. He's going to be announced. He's going to be a playable character. He's going to be in this game, and you can play as him, and he takes Donkey Kong. Here's my problem with if we do have Diddy Kong, like the whole idea of the game is smashing through the rocks. Like I don't know if he's going to have some sort of like power gloves to give him the same effect that Donkey Kong has, or if they're all going to have different tools, and then Donkey Kong uses his hands and the other people use their tools to do the exact same thing Donkey Kong's doing. What do you think? I'll be right back.
He asked me a question and leaves. No, I don't know that I necessarily agree that they're going to be full-on playable characters. Not that he's here to hear me say this. I really don't think they're going to be full-on playable characters. Keywork in the live chat says they're going to go in depth with destructive environments in this direct, and I also believe that that's going to be the majority of what we see is a full-on breakdown of all the destruction that you can do and where those pathways can lead you, and a little bit more of a specificity around knowing when to dig down, knowing how to identify where there are going to be pathways. Obviously, they've shown a little bit of that in the treehouse footage that they did, where DK had the clap and the slap on the ground, and it sends these audio shockwaves out to allow you to be able to identify when there are secrets hidden behind walls and underground. But part of me wants to believe that yes, like we are going to see full-on other playable Kong characters. But I don't think that they're going to be quite to the extent that we've seen with Donkey Kong in the past. Especially like if you consider Donkey Kong 64, for instance, where it was quite the collectathon, and you're playing as DK, but then you need to swap to Diddy because you need to get a specific banana medal, and then you might need to be Lanky Kong, and then suddenly you've got to be Chunky or Tiny Kong. I don't think we're going to get that level of character usage. I full on just believe that they're going to be buddy characters in the same sense that Cappy was, but they're going to be enablers for us to be able to do specific things, kind of along the lines of what you're mentioning, but I don't think they're going to be the thing that that you play as and you end up being able to do a full-on playthrough as Diddy Kong or whatever character you may want to insert there. I think Oddbro, you're back. Did you hear me?
I'm back.
Did you hear what I was saying?
So you think it'll be like kind of how they are in the other games, right? Like, if Diddy is helping you out, he'll be either on your shoulder or something, and then give you like either a double jump or a long glide, like to help you glide. Like he'll use his tail to spin, and then the other characters can have different abilities. Right. Is that what you're thinking? I think they're going to assist DK in his movement and his ability to get places. I mean, everything we've seen, he's so momentum based in this game. From the footage, like there's almost nothing that really stands in his way. He can climb like crazy. He can dig straight down. He's got a decent hop. He's super strong, but there may be times in specific worlds that they do later on in the game where you need to be able to glide a little bit, or you might need to be able to ascend with a jump a little bit, or maybe there's a whole lot of spike stuff on the ground that you can't dig under or walk on, and so you're going to need, we've obviously seen Cranky Kongs in the game, so do I think he's going to be a buddy character that assists you in that way? No, not really. But do I think that they may have something in store along those lines? I think it's a high possibility we see more Kong cameos
that allow us to be able to do special things and better movement as DK in this game. I don't think that's a huge branch to go on at all.
Do you think Diddy Kong being in the? Do you think he will be in this game?
I mean, he did have a brand new render. Like, they fully redid his character art. And he wasn't in Mario Kart World. He wasn't an unlockable character, any kind of secret hidden anything. Otherwise, I mean, well, he might not be. Who knows? That is? Why do I think they did the character art, or why do I think he's not in Mario Kart World? Which one?
Yeah, why do you think he's not in Mario Kart World?
I think Nintendo doesn't necessarily want to dilute the Mario franchise with the expanded Kong universe. I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, the only Kong character that's in there is Donkey Kong. You don't have Cranky Kong. You don't have Donkey Kong Jr. You don't have Diddy Kong. You don't have any of the enemies. You don't have like Rambi or anything like that. It's just only Donkey Kong. And so I think ultimately, with Mario having such a close relationship with Donkey Kong, I think that's the only reason he got into Mario Kart World. And that's one of the main reasons that Diddy Kong is not in it, is because he doesn't have that close relationship with Mario that Donkey Kong historically has had.
Do you think if Mario Kart or Donkey Kong being in Mario Kart has anything to do with him being in the original?
I think it has
Mario
everything. Well, I think it has everything to do with Mario and Donkey Kong. Well, Mario's first real adventure as Mario himself being Donkey Kong Arcade.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the only reason DK's in there, is because that's where Mario got his start as Jumpman.
And then do you think, two-part question,
mm-hmm.
Do you think that Diddy Kong will be in, when this game comes out, leading, like maybe the week before or leading into it, maybe even 2 weeks after Donkey Kong comes out and everyone realizes, oh, Diddy Kong is in it, maybe even after this direct, people will realize that. Do you think they will add Diddy Kong as a it's like a choose your own adventure question, because do you think Diddy Kong will get added to Mario Kart World? If he does get added to Mario Kart World, do you think that'll set a precedent for them to then do something similar when other big games come out, for them to add new characters, like for maybe the next Mario? And then if they don't, why the heck not?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first question, which is, do I think Diddy Kong will get added? And I don't think so. I really don't think so. At least not within the release range of Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out. I don't think he'll get added. I think if he were to get added, it would be in a paid DLC kind of situation, more than anything. I don't think Nintendo is going to give anything for free to us through Mario Kart World at all, and they're going to do everything they can to make their money back. Because if you think about the user base, not that they have divisional data to say who got it how, but if you look at the user base, how many people got that game for $50 instead of $80? How? We can't know, right? But
yeah, I mean, Nintendo knows, we don't know.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But I think I could see them doing it as paid DLC if they were ever going to add him, and to incentivize people who fell in love with Donkey Kong Bonanza. He's kind of a natural fit in that regard. Am I optimistic that that's going to happen? Still yet, no. I don't think so. I think we didn't get Link in this game, right? We didn't get amiibo costumes. We didn't get Mii's. There are a lot of things that are pre-existing in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which, granted, Mario Kart 8 getting Link was DLC anyway, that you paid for. Again, the Link stuff. getting Link in the
Link
and the Hyrule
with
Castle course.
Animal Crossing, right?
Yep. So we
And
didn't get
Splatoon.
any of that stuff included in this release. And I think part of that is Nintendo's want to focus back to the roots of what Mario Kart is and make it Mario Kart rather than Nintendo Kart, right? So I think that's part of it. But the other side of it is I think if they were to ever do it again, it would just have to be paid DLC. Mnemonic Man says, okay, but we got Mario Kart World, then we get Mario Kart World 2, Yoshi's Island, and then Mario Kart Sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Mario Kart 64. Oh, wait, they already did that one.
But I could see them doing, because they got World, and then they have, Rainbow Road.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them doing, like, sort of, what's it called? Sort of did this. Golly, Forza Horizon.
Mm-hmm.
They did like a Power Wheels thing, or Hot Wheels, and it was like above the map, so it wasn't connected to the map. It was like above the map. I could see them doing that for like almost like Portals or Elseworlds, and then they could have like Hyrule Kingdom, like courses in the Hyrule Kingdom, Animal Crossing, blah blah blah. If they were to add actual other Nintendo characters, but this is what they think is Mario Kart. But I would love to. I mean, we'll probably never get a response unless somebody actually goes out and asks them, like, hey, why didn't you put Diddy Kong in Mario Kart? If he does come later as like DLC, or if they announce DLC later and they're like, if you buy Mario Kart World by March, it'll be like the Piranha Plant, where they gave everyone that got it early the Piranha Plant. They could do that with give everyone Diddy that bought it early. Otherwise, he's a paid DLC.
It'd be cool. I'm just not optimistic that that's going to happen.
Yeah. You don't think it's going to be the Tetris 99 of the Switch 2?
No. Not at all. I think, back to Donkey Kong Bonanza, though, because we're getting off on Mario Kart World tangent here, to pull it back to Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think their marketing strategy is going to be less infiltratey than putting Diddy Kong in Mario Kart World. I think they've got a different plan and a different direction that they want to go in, and I think they want to keep those two franchises pretty separate, at least the expanded portions of the franchise pretty separate. So as far as that goes, we don't even know if Diddy is actually in the game. We want to make assumptions that he is, and
no, he got a new render too.
Exactly, and that's why it's like, okay, well, maybe that's happening, and that's why. If that's happening, what other Kongs do you expect to see? I'll give you my list. If they do Diddy Kong, right? If Diddy Kong is a part of it, I think we get Diddy Kong. I think we know we got Cranky Kong, who's in there as a Kong cameo. I think we see Funky Kong, because he's been very present throughout the franchise.
Is he the one with the surfboard?
He is the one with the surfboard and the do-rag and the cool glasses. He basically looks like DK, but just cool instead of just naked in a tie.
It was like, when Steve Urkel went into the machine and came out as Stefan.
Yeah, he's Stefan Urkel. He is Stefan. But man, what a throwback. But I think we see Funky. I will tell you the ones that I don't think we see. I don't think we see any of the other ones from Donkey Kong 64. We don't see Candy. We don't see Ghost Wrinkly. We don't see Tiny or Chunky or Lanky. Those are the ones we definitely don't see. No Lanky Kong. I think we get a costume for Lanky Kong.
I feel like if anything, this team because wasn't that the rumor when there was a rumor coming out that they were making a Donkey Kong, is they
The
wanted to
Mario
make
Odyssey
one that,
team.
yeah, that wasn't connected or associated with the Donkey Kong Country and or the Country Return games. They wanted to make Donkey Kong how they envisioned them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could see them not wanting to include any of them and then just creating all new characters. But at the same time, I hope that we get, at least Diddy and Dixie.
Well, I mean, here's the way I look at that, right? So this is, we assume, we don't know for sure, but we assume that this is the Tokyo EPD team working on this game. The Mario Kart, my God, we're back at Mario Kart. The Super Mario Odyssey team working on this game.
Right.
If you look at Odyssey and the vibe of that game, everything about Mario Odyssey pays homage and tribute to the history of Mario in so many ways. Like, we're talking about, they have the Donkey Kong moment where you're running through in the 2D section while Jump Up Superstar plays, and you get to the top of the city in Metro Kingdom, and you're there with Pauline while she's talking about Jump Up, I'll be your one-up girl. But, you look at that. You look at all the little touches, even down to the 2D sections. The Nintendo 64 costume that you can apply to Mario. All of the references, the 64 Kingdom that they had in there. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't made it to the end of the game. At this point, it's been like 7 years, so you should probably finish that game. It's really good, and they got to switch to upgrade. But I think if you look at the way they did that game, Donkey Kong Bananza is going to be a very similar situation. I think they're going to pay homage and tribute to the history of Donkey Kong in a lot of ways that maybe we aren't really prepared for or expecting. And while I would argue that Donkey Kong has much less of a well-worn history, I mean, there's a lot of Donkey Kong games out there, but most of those are fair to middling, save for a few stellar releases that are extremely memorable. But I mean, I think there are going to be plenty of references out there. Maybe we don't get a reference to Donkey Kong Jungle Beat or Conga, but I think we do get references to the first 3 Donkey Kong countries: Tropical Freeze, Returns HD. I don't think we see a
94?
reference to DK64. Donkey Kong 94, I could absolutely see that one getting a reference. That game is really good.
There will be at least one section where you're climbing up vines and
Yes.
scooting between them,
Yes. That would be awesome.
Using mouse controls. So if this is the Odyssey team went above and beyond. They added a bunch of random stuff to their games.
Yeah.
Right? Like they had VR, the mode that you could play in
for
VR.
Nintendo Labo.
Yeah, for Nintendo Labo VR. So I feel like there's a
they did
chance
seasonal
that,
costumes.
Yeah,
you got the
seasonal
Santa
costumes.
costume, you got the zombie Mario costume. There was so many cool different things they did with that. Yeah.
And the one, he was a turkey. No, he wasn't. I was thinking of.
It's I wasn't following. I was like, hold on now. I've played that game up and down. I've never been
Bobby's
Turkey Mario.
World. Yeah.
Bobby's World.
just
right, Howie
coming
Mandel,
up with all
let's
the
go.
references. Yeah. Harry met the Hendersons. Harry and the Hendersons. But yeah, I think there will be mouse controls, even if it's just for a mini game or something. They will do something weird with the mouse controls.
No one's really confirmed whether or not it has mouse controls. At all the demo stuff, they never said anything about mouse controls. I was watching, so Game Explain were talking about their predictions for Donkey Kong Bonanza over on their YouTube channel, and I was watching through that earlier today, and one of the things that Andre of Game Explain had said was,
3000?
yeah, Andre 3000 of Game Explain had said was, he doesn't think mouse mode controls would necessarily work in this environment, And
Right.
I tend to agree with him because what he said, his follow-up is mouse mode controls are good in Metroid, right? Like first-person shooter, you're analyzing your area, you're trying to pay attention to what you're doing. But mouse mode controls in a Donkey Kong game, it's not really necessarily about that. It's about movement and jumping and rolling and platforming, and less so about being very precise about where you're throwing a rock,
Right.
And I don't know if that would translate super well, or if they could even find a real reason to put it in there.
Right. Yeah. That's why I think if we were to get it, it would be for like a mini game or something. Like just something completely separate from, not from anything that we've already seen, but just something different.
Right.
Yeah, if we do get it.
I don't know if I care enough about mouse mode for that reason. It's not that I think it would be bad. Like, it's just I don't think I would use it that often. It's very much like I hate pointer controls, like in Mario Galaxy, where you use the pointer to collect star bits. And I always feel like that kind of just slows me down compared to what I want to do in the game. And it's a little bit cumbersome, and I don't want to have to do that in Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I think, because if you look at Mario Odyssey, for instance, right? Like, there is a lot of requirement for motion controls in that game. Like, in order to do the roll, you have to shake the controller to do the roll. If you're going to throw the Cappy a specific way, you can throw Cappy, but he always just goes straight. But if you want to throw him a specific way, using the Joy-Con controller or the Pro controller and pulling your controller up to throw him up, or throwing it to the side, or maybe doing a spin motion to get him to spin around you. That was a big complaint from a lot of people in that game, and that they didn't really want to do the motion controls.
Right.
I'm getting roasted in the live chat. Nerdwire doesn't like mouse controls. Get good. Slams a 30-year-old Jolt Cola, immediately dies. It's not that I don't like mouse controls though. It's that I don't think they would fit in the gameplay style of a Donkey Kong game. I tend to agree with what Andre said, is I don't think they would fit in the gameplay style. Whereas like Metroid Prime, it's going to be totally awesome being able to swap back and forth between mouse mode. That is a precision shooter, like it's not
Donkey
a platformer.
Kong was in first person. Yeah. If Donkey Kong was a first person game, maybe.
Like Link's crossbow training.
Yes, exactly. Or a light gun shooter.
Yep.
If it was something like that, or here's the thing, I always like the idea of like the mouse controls or like pointer, like for Galaxy and stuff. I liked the idea of it. I was like, oh, that's such a neat idea. But then like when you're
in execution,
20 hours in, I was going to say 20 hours in, but really 45 minutes in, and you're like, okay, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah. I would 100% agree with that. We talked about the Tokyo team and the Super Mario Odyssey team kind of ideally being the team that we see behind this. And part of the big reason that I feel that way is because this has so much of the same vibe that Mario Odyssey did. Like, it looks like an Odyssey game, right? Like,
like when they first showed it, before you start noticing like random bananas throughout,
right, right,
and seeing all that, before you notice that, before that happened, what we would, people were like, oh, this just looks like Odyssey, like a new Odyssey game,
right?
But no,
I'm not sold on the idea of Here's what I want to say before I say what I'm about to say. Okay. If this is the Odyssey team working on Donkey Kong Bonanza, do you think that means that we're not getting a Mario anytime soon?
I mean, what else did the Odyssey team work on? Because they did Odyssey.
Tokyo
that came out
APD.
in 2017.
Okay, so Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development Here are some of the things that they had done for Switch 1. They worked on Breath of the Wild. They worked on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They worked on ARMS, Splatoon 2, and Super Mario Odyssey. But Super Mario Odyssey, like all of those other games that were before it, was all of the other games that came before it were games that they were partnered on. They weren't the full-on developers. Like you can see, even though they don't have them fully listed, but that's partly because Nintendo doesn't necessarily list them all.
Did they do Mario 3D World? Like when plus
No.
Bowser's Fury, who was it that did that? Because wasn't there like a certain team, like this was something that they had been working on for Bowser's that ended up becoming Bowser's Fury, I believe. What it was.
It was EAD, Analysis and Development Division, was what it was.
EAD.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? The one we're talking about?
EPD is the other one, which is Entertainment Planning and Development. Instead of analysis and development, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't see, like, they did 3D All Stars, Pikmin 3, Bowser's Fury, Splatoon 3.
They'll say,
but again, it wasn't Splatoon 3, right? They're partnered with. Everybody Want to Switch was co-developed, and for some reason, some of these are not getting properly cited as far as their co-developments. But you know, the past
this is all
2 years,
Nintendo being so secretive about
it really is
who's making their game.
The past 2 years, they've been involved with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of co-developed with blah blah blah. IndieCube, Everybody Want to Switch, Pikmin 4 with Aiding, Nintendo World Championships, Indie Zero, Emio was with Mages, Grezzo did Echoes of Wisdom as the main developer of it. And apparently their name's on Splatoon Raiders as well, which I'm not surprised because they've done all the rest of the Splatoon games. But
some people from that team might have overseen it. Kind of like Intelligent Systems is in charge of like the Fire Emblem games, but like Three Houses and then what was after Three Houses?
Engage.
Yeah, Engage. It came out that like when you look at the credits, most of the team that worked on it was Koei Tecmo.
Right.
Like they were doing most of the development.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same thing, they had help doing like the WarioWare games and those sorts of games. Like it's just like they have a core group of people, and then they it's kind of like what's his name, Sakurai, where he got
with Hal.
He had his core group of people that he works with, and like him and his wife, and then a couple of other people, and then I hit my alarm went off. And then Namco did most of the actual development of Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Right.
So it's like, but it was overseen by that team,
Yeah.
Team Sora. Yeah. So I feel like Nintendo does that a lot with a lot of their games.
I would agree. I don't know what I was going to say before I posed the question to you was, do you expect to see a new Mario? And I'm not sold on the idea that that's going to be a thing that we see. I really don't expect to see a new Mario game for a long time.
Well, yeah, who did the 2D one?
Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I don't remember the development team for that because they never tell us who, and I always forget. It was EPD as well.
Okay, yeah. So it's like it was like it came out like it's like a separate part of them. Like it's like different team. Like who knows how many teams they actually have over there.
Right.
Where they were like, yeah, this team is working on this team's working on that, this team. Sort of like, it's like, oh, the same people working on there's like a team that's working on Splatoon and Animal Crossing, and then they like branched off to two separate teams, and then it's like one team is mainly focused on this, the other team is mainly focused on that. And so in terms of like, I think we will get a new Mario Kart game, or a new Mario game, but I don't know if it will. Like when we say a new Mario game, at least when I say it, I mean like on the level of like Galaxy, Odyssey, something like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily 3D Land or 3D World.
Well, I still like 3D Land and 3D World. I think honestly, 3D World's like one of my top 5 faves. Like it is genuinely a good game. But I understand where you're coming from. Where like narratively, it's not one of those like story mode games that you get like with Odyssey or with Galaxy, where there's like this level of grandeur that can't really be achieved in a 2D. I almost said 2D in a 2D setting.
Nintendo today.
Yeah, Nintendo 2D. It can't be achieved in a 2D setting quite the way that they narratively push things in a 3D Mario. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, but I don't know why. And it's just kind of interesting to me that they don't really push the narrative experience quite the same way they do with 3D games and 2D games.
Right. But we do have like with kind of like Zelda, how Zelda kind of has a new game every year. I mean, they're kind of almost getting there with Mario. It's like a different kind of game where they got like what the 3D collection they had the one year. They had 3D World, then they had Wonder, and now. Well, now
I mean, if we look at the Mario games we actually got on Nintendo Switch, right? So they led with Mario Odyssey, and let's just say 8 years, right? 8 years. So we got Mario Odyssey, we got Super Mario Maker 2, we got the 3D All Stars collection, we got New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe as a remake on there. We got or a port rather, with some improvements. We got 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. And we got Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So 6 games in 8 years, essentially.
Right, yeah. And so it was pretty much Mario Maker 2, Mario Maker 2, Wonder, and Odyssey were the 3 like new original games.
Yeah, but even then, Mario Maker 2 was a more, in my opinion, dumbed down version of Mario Maker 1 because they got rid of the amiibo costumes. I digress. I'm not going to complain too much about that.
I'll complain about it. I'll tell you what. Here's the problem. They did that, got rid of the costumes, and that was like what I was so excited. I was like, oh, good. They can, give us some better quality of life features. And then like they made it like so cumbersome to like trade to share your levels and do all that sort of stuff. Like it could have been so cool and like blown up all over social media, but the way that it was like just wasn't quite as easy. Plus they got rid of all the costumes. It was like Smash Brothers was like everyone's here. Mario Maker 2 was like we let them all go on vacation. There's no one is here. Mario and Luigi.
No one is here. No, they had Toad and Toadette playing.
Yeah, that's true.
They brought them over.
But yeah, so half of the games, 3 of the 6,
were ports or remakes in a sense.
Yeah, and then Mario Maker was like barely better than Mario Maker.
I mean, they did do Worlds in that release and had 3D World as a theme, but like when they said themes,
they make a new one.
You think they're gonna? Well, let's hold on. Let's just stay focused on Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't think they're gonna do a new Mario Maker 3 anytime soon either. If they do, right? If that happens, I think that would be the one thing that would stave off Mario fans for at least another year. Like they'd be like, well, I didn't get 3D Mario and I didn't get a new 2D Mario, but at least I got Mario Maker 3 and all of these other people can make me a new 2D Mario.
they can make me new wonder levels.
Yeah. I could see that being a thing, but I think it is the same team. I think it's the Tokyo team working on Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I honestly think that because we're getting Bonanza, this is essentially going to be our 3D Mario for this generation, unless this game underperforms.
Let me ask you this: will they have either tease him or show him off altogether?
You think Mario's going to be in the game? Is that what you're saying in Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Do you think Mario or Yoshi will be in?
Not Yoshi. And not in a million years, no Yoshi.
No Yoshi. What about Luigi?
I think
Mario or Luigi?
Not Luigi either. I think if any one of the Mario people make it, Mario would make it. If anybody makes it. Mario himself makes it. But
we know
as preteen Mario.
From Mario's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's Pauline. Right? That's why I'm like, Pauline. It's preteen Mario.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, what would even be the timeline of it?
I think...
Does Donkey Kong just not age?
I think he does age. Because if you look at the character model in World versus the character model here, they're similar, but there's some pretty maturing differences in their character models.
What if it's your kid?
Oh, that could be interesting. But I think they're kind of retconning and unifying the Donkey Kong timeline in this game. That's what I really think is happening here. Like, they're showing that lost period of time between Donkey Kong Arcade and the Donkey Kong Country as we know it, right after, Donkey Kong Jr. grows up.
So this is like Donkey Kong 98.
Yeah, essentially.
Or 2000, yeah.
Susie, I came back because I wanted to watch a Jurgen Klopp Trivago commercial. Oh man, Mnemonic Man says Donkey Kong does not age. He has the crystal coconut like the show describes. Oh man, it's been a long time since I've watched that CGI horror abomination. But I think they're going to use this as a way to kind of unify that timeline. Make it make sense, because Nintendo has openly, definitely 100% recognized that Cranky Kong is arcade Donkey Kong. And they obviously created Donkey Kong Jr. for that reason. So he grows up to become the Donkey Kong we have today, and I think it's that in-between timeline, because that Pauline key art is, I mean, it's too crazy.
Wait a minute. So can I ask you this?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that Donkey Kong Bonanza is the Black Widow of the Nintendo games?
I am. I really am.
You're telling me? Is that what you're getting at?
Are we not saying that? Are we avoiding saying that? Is that something we're not going to say?
Well, that's what I gathered. There she is. Great. Another demonetized video. Well, thank goodness he's got that tie on so you can hold on to it.
But it's the same key art that Oddrock is, and I also find it strange the bracelet that she has on her wrist.
Which looks like it's what Oddrock is.
Yeah, it's made of Oddrock.
It's kind of like Donkey Kong, or it's kind of like when we play Fortnite. Hear me out. When we play Fortnite, and I am the Mandalorian, and I got Grogu on my back. Mm-hmm. When he's in battle, he covers up and he shields up.
Oh, you think that bracelet like coats her body in rock?
Transforms her into a little rock.
Be so freaking sick. That'd be super cool. That would be super cool.
She could like transform back to talk to you, and they just haven't been showing it in the demos because they don't want people to know about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they don't want people to think, oh, Donkey Kong's riding around with like young Pauline just hanging on him. She could be in danger. I
still don't understand why hide that. That's such a weird mindset, especially if it's already something that's going on in the game.
Yeah. And yeah, Nintendo is weird about. I mean, but when remember, I think we will have a moment like when in the second trailer for Mario Odyssey where he throws the hat onto the frog, right? Was that in the first trailer?
No, they showed nothing with Cappy in the very first trailer
No,
for
I mean the
Mario
second
Odyssey.
trailer.
It was in the second trailer,
That's what I meant. Like when they show that, and that was like the big reveal. I
right?
think they're gonna have something like that here with this.
I would agree.
Because
I think they're going to show the functionality of what Odd Rock does and why he's such an
Right.
important character here.
Yeah, as Bob Ross there would tell us, um, he the fact that they have like the different materials or minerals that you can like smash out and hit. I mean, it reminds me of stuff like uh, almost like survival games where they have the different materials and how they all like actually work with each other and be
Yeah.
like, oh, you can get this wet and do this, or you can get it and throw this at it and it'll make it explode and do
Well,
that.
they have shown that in the tree houses where like the clumpy mud, it works differently and sticks to walls. They have the explosive rock, they have the harder stone.
Right.
They have shown that. So
I think the elements that you get will have something to do with that, I think. Somehow. I don't know.
I'm hoping so. I want to see something. The biggest thing that I really want to see from tomorrow, and I suppose we could probably eventually get to moving because there's a lot to be excited for, and we have an early day tomorrow because we're going to be live reacting to this.
We have a lot to do. Yeah.
But the one thing that I do want to see is a little more depth in the game loop that kind of shows what we can expect from what this game is going to be like. Because so far, what they've shown off has been pretty minimal in terms of motivation, right? Like we've had, here's this thing you can do. You can destroy the environment. Here's a couple of challenges that you can do while you're in that environment. And yes, the game loop is very similar to Mario, where if you strip it back and don't show off any of the story from Super Mario Odyssey, and you don't know your motivations, it's find a moon, 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 power up your Odyssey, go to the next kingdom, find a moon, find a moon. But there is so much more depth there, and I believe that this game is going to have a lot more depth than just what they've shown off. And the difference between the fact that, Super Mario Odyssey released with Trailer 1 not showing off Cappy, Trailer 2 absolutely showing off Cappy and what it can do, is that Donkey Kong Bonanza has had one trailer and nothing else since. They've had the demo experience, they've had the tree houses, but they haven't had anything that's revealed anything about the ultimate game loop in this game. And that's what I'm hoping to see tomorrow more than anything is, what is DK's motivation beyond monkey see banana, want banana?
And I feel like they also are going to finally have like stuff to show us in terms of what the like what we're going to be doing other than run around and smash stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that is it. That's what we're doing.
That's my hope. That's my hope. You got any more questions, predictions, anything else that you're hyped about surrounding this before we move into the next topic?
Absolutely not. I feel like we've spent a lot more time on it than they will tomorrow.
Well, I guarantee it. Which does bring me to the next portion of this, or the next question that I had kind of surrounding it is, how long do you expect this direct to be? They never said. Normally they say, like, expect 45 minutes of gameplay coverage or, how much time do you expect? To put it in perspective, Mario Kart World was 15 minutes.
I know. I was going to say 21 minutes, but I feel like that's way too long.
You don't think they can spend more than 21 minutes showing that off?
I went back and watched, like, before we talked about this today, I went back and watched
one of the tree houses.
Yeah.
one of the three.
Yeah. I went back and watched one and I was like, I hope they don't. I hope it's not like this where they just go around show you them playing it. I hope It's more concise. So that's why I think I'll go with 18 minutes.
I want it to be about 20 minutes. That's legitimately what I want, because I think they could spend a good amount of time showing off the mechanics that they've already shown off, because they will, because that's what Nintendo does, is they rehash everything that they do. But I think they'll spend the first 10 minutes showing off everything they showed off in the treehouse, and then the next 10 minutes is going to be, here's the story reveal. Here's Donkey Kong's motivation. Here's why he's doing what he's doing. They'll focus on showing off some of the powers that maybe you'll get partner characters like we're talking about with Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong coming along with you and riding on your shoulder. Pauline, Odd Rock, obviously. Maybe they'll show off some of the creatures that you could ride. Maybe there's no way they don't have you ride creatures in this game, right? Like
there'll be a rhino in this direct.
You're gonna get Rambi. You're gonna get Squitter the spider. You're gonna
Will they call him that? Do you think?
Oh yeah. I think they'll call him by their name.
Or will they just be new characters? Like, was he always Rambi?
Well, we saw that he was always Rambi. But we saw the ostrich. Animal character partner. So right. I expect to see a lot of those back in that tomorrow too, as a sizzle reel. Like, here's something they're doing, blah, 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 running through, breaking through rocks, or, maybe this one can jump up and fly. Maybe you can use spider legs to shoot webs and swing from, like Spider-Man. I think that would be really, really cool if they ended up doing that. But the back half of it's going to be story and everything else, as far as that goes. Susie out here, I have no ape in this game. I'm a certified hater. I am surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised. Is it you're afraid of monkeys, or do you just hate Donkey Kong specifically?
No, she doesn't. Yeah, she's not a fan. She usually... Okay, no.
No, come on, out her right now. Let's call her out. Let's air her dirty laundry.
She's happy about Harambe. That's all I'm gonna say.
What? Oh my god.
That's why I stopped. You talked me into saying it. No,
I'm glad you said it.
She is just.
Pour one out for Harambe out there, guys. Pour one out for Harambe. I just
listen. Susan's just trying to hang out, play a backyard baseball 97 and not be harassed by two people doing a podcast.
two white guys on a Nintendo podcast. Surprise. Yeah. But no, I just I really do want it to be about 20 minutes. I think that would be a good amount of coverage that would get me excited, and also would justify us getting up and being live by 8:30 in the morning to stream to our 10 fans out there. Our reaction to Nintendo Rewind.
Yeah. Susie, we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, we'll see. You'll be here at 8:30 in the morning. You need something to do when you're opening up the deli. Let me see here. Mm-hmm. There was another couple of questions I had here.
Cooper Sharp. Once you get Cooper Sharp deli meat and put it in the fridge and then take it out, it's like impossible to get it to come apart. Right,
the next question I had on my list of questions to ask you is, are you afraid this direct is just going to be a big bowl of nothing soup? Like, when you look at the Mario Kart World Direct that we just had, it was 15 minutes of showing the exact same stuff we already knew. And part of that was because when they did the reveal of it at the Nintendo Direct covering the Switch 2, they kind of showed off everything there was to do in that game. There was nothing new shown off at all, from Direct trailer to the Mario Kart World Direct.
No, I don't think it will. I think the reason Mario Kart is because it's Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a big bowl of nothing. I think with a game like Donkey Kong, just let me finish. I think a game like Donkey Kong Bananza, made by what we think is the Odyssey team, mm-hmm. is going to be amazing, mm-hmm. and get fantastic scores. And I think that will end up being the highest. I think it will be one of the highest rated games. And I think the Mario Odyssey team is going to come through and release a 95 out of 100.
How did Mario Odyssey do? Let's go look on Metacritic real quick. Metacritic. Super Mario Odyssey got a 97.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Donkey Kong.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. Who has that on their Fantasy Critic? Who was that again? Who picked that game? Which one of us was it? Was it?
I got that dumb.
Was it Nintendo or Hot Dog with an H? Oh man. I think
that's a great question.
I think at the end of the day, Keywork has it right though. Mario Kart World is a sports game, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is meat and potatoes, and it is the first and only single player game from Nintendo. I'm not talking about Nintendo Switch 2. Welcome to her. I refuse to talk about it. But it is the first and only game coming out that is a single player, story driven character experience. And I think it's just going to be genuinely overall very, very, very good. I think it's going to be very good. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a high number. It's just my worry is that Nintendo is going to Nintendo it up and refuse to reveal anything at the Direct.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they could do that with Mario Kart because Mario Kart's going to sell regardless of what you show it. And they pretty much already did show pretty much everything that there was to show about Mario Kart. I feel like Mario Kart is all about playing it. Yeah. And like enjoying, like going around, experiencing, driving, all that stuff. Donkey Kong, it's going to be more about like the stuff that you're able to do in the game and all of that. So I think there will be a lot more that they show. And I think people are going to come away from this being like, oh, I'm so much more excited for this now than I ever was before. That's what I think.
I want to be more excited about that. I really do.
Yeah.
I just am not as optimistic about it, about Nintendo doing a Direct that's really going to deliver. And part of that is because, and that kind of leads me into my next question about this is, you know, does this lend some credence to the fact that we're not going to be seeing a full Nintendo Direct this month? We asked that question a couple days ago, or last week when we talked about Splatoon Raiders, right? Where we said, hey, this feels like it could have been in a Direct, and it wasn't. It was a shadow drop, like shout out of a video game that's coming out from Nintendo that could have been a full reveal in a Direct. This is a Direct, but it's a single game focused Direct. And yes, like Nintendo surprised us by throwing out an extra Direct here and there randomly for no apparent reason. But do you think this totally puts that nail in the coffin that we're not going to see an actual full-on, here's other things that are coming to the console Direct?
I think we will, just because they don't really have anything else. They have all the, remasters or Switch 2 editions. But, I mean, there has been times before, like, I think it was like, there was like an Animal Crossing Direct and there was like a Pokemon Direct that they had. They had like 2 Directs right before they ended up having a Nintendo Direct the week after. So I feel like if they have this here and then they have a Nintendo Direct next week and then they can start hyping up Donkey Kong again the week after, I think that will be it. Do you think we'll get here's the thing. It's too early for special editions, but I would like banana yellow Joy-Con is what I would like.
I would also really like banana yellow Joy-Con.
I don't think we'll get them, but
No.
I would really like them.
You know what would be cool is if we got Donkey Kong Brown and banana yellow Joy-Cons to attach to the Switch to. That would be totally cool with me. I want poo poo pee pee flavored Joy-Cons. Like, that's what it's gonna be. Brown and yellow, like on one side and the other. But do I really think that's going to happen? No, not at all. I think Nintendo, they're already having trouble keeping Nintendo Switches in stock. I just am not anticipatory of them going, here's some special Joy-Cons.
I don't see any special ones until
I would love it.
Year 2 or 3.
I would buy them. I really would buy them just to have something that looks different than the freaking Switch Joy-Cons that we currently have. I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just, it's whatever. It's just, this red and blue and it's all gray, and that's totally fine. But I want colorful Joy-Cons now. And this is coming from the person who pre-ordered the gray Switch. Like, when I don't know why I did that. I pre-ordered the gray Switch thinking I want an adult Switch. And it's like, no, the neon ones were so much cooler. They were so much better looking in person. Just brown at the ends. Jesus, Cody. I'm sorry.
It would be yellow, and then the hint of color around the analog stick, like they did with this one. It would be brown.
Yep, all brown. Just brown hint of color around the analog stick.
yeah, there you go.
But I'm just not optimistic. We'll see another direct. I'm really not. I think that Nintendo's new format is going to be, we're going to do a direct for our first party games, and then we're going to do partner showcases randomly throughout the year. And Indie Worlds. That's what I think.
Yeah. I still think I'm still Team June, but I'm still Team October.
Yeah. We're going to get that reveal in October, baby. It's coming. It's coming. They're going to reveal that Switch 2 in October.
When they announce a Nintendo Direct this October, I'll be like, told you. What I get out of it?
I knew it. Oops, all brown Joy-Cons. Oh man, Keywork. Keywork Xavier in the live chat. I vote for the opposite of whatever Cody says on this matter. I listen, I also vote for the opposite, but this is what I expect. Directs every month. It would be a direct every month because they'd have to hype up the next game that they're doing every month.
Yeah, the next.
That's what
Switch.
Nintendo does.
People were so excited to see all those Wii U games on the Switch, and we gave Nintendo the wrong message because now they're just putting all these Switch games on the Switch too, and it's
that is the truth. But I actually really like that. Which, speaking of, we kind of get into the second part of the episode, but before we do that, I am going to throw it over to a quick ad break. We're going to take a quick little break here. Everybody go get yourself some water. Come back, stretch. We got the last little bit of the main topic and then a couple of other things on the docket still yet for today. So don't anybody go anywhere. Keep it locked in right here on Nintendo Rewind. We're going to get back at it again with the rest of this episode. Next portion of the main topic, we were going to talk about what I've been playing on Switch 2, what we have been playing on Switch 2 this past week, and, you know, kind of open it up to the community, ask any kind of questions, but also, obviously, my co-host Chris Becker here can ask some questions as well as we keep going through. But
what are the buttons?
The buttons. What are the buttons? The buttons are A, B, X, Y, and then GL and GR if you've got those. But I got to spend quite a bit of time, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. I did a wheel of games yesterday, playing through some of the Switch 1 games that got upgrades. We played Tears of the Kingdom. That was the first time I've booted into that game since I beat it last on Switch 1, and I was excited to try it out, and I want to spend some more time in the Switch 2 version of it. But Tears of the Kingdom was really pretty. Like, the frame rate was smooth. One thing I did notice about it, though, is that while the game itself, like in-engine game, got upgrades on resolution and frame rate, the cinematics did not get upgrades in resolution. So they still they looked a little muddy and a little grainy compared to the actual gameplay. And I was very surprised by that because I always thought that all of those cutscenes were built in engine, and they're not. They're like actual videos, pre-rendered videos that they put in there, which, you know, that's fine. Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, when they would make like a 360 game and bring it to modern consoles, and then it's like, oh, this looks so good, but then they just hit play on like the VHS they had for the cutscenes, and it just like is very jarring with the rest of it.
Right. But I enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom. I played quite a lot of Mario Odyssey in the hour that I spent with it yesterday, because what I was doing with the Wheel of Games was I was doing games an hour at a time, but I made it pretty deep into it. Finished off Cap Kingdom, finished off Cascade Kingdom, finished off the Sand Kingdom, Toast Arena, made it through the Lake Kingdom really, really quickly, and through Wooded Kingdom. Just made it to Metro Kingdom. I didn't even really get to see it load in because my hour of time that I'd allotted to play it was up yesterday. But that game runs super smooth, and the resolution looks beautiful. And that game already looked really good, and it ran really good on Switch 1. So some of the differences there aren't as stark or as different as what you would expect compared to like Tears of the Kingdom, for instance, right? But it still looked really, really good. Played a little bit of ARMS. I had not played that game since it launched, like before Splatoon 2 came out. And going back to that game, I was so surprised at how fun that game is. Like, it's so good. And the resolution upgrade and the frame rate is genuinely a lot better than I remembered it being. It is one I would...
And like the hair looked really good too.
Yeah, like there was definition on all of the like thicker strands of hair, that because I was playing as Twin Tails, so you get to see a lot of her hair because she uses her hair as her arms.
That's not all you get to see.
Yeah, I mean, Awooga. Can we get some Wario Awooga in the chat? I don't know if that's a tier 2 emote or not. I'm unsure, but you know what I'm talking about, Wario Awooga. But
I don't know if I do know what you're talking about.
It's one of our emotes. It's one of our emotes on Twitch.
I don't know what they all look like.
But no, like it was really really good, and I think I'm gonna play a little bit more of that. I was kind of amazed at how fun that game was again this many years on. I mean, it's been like 8 years, near a decade since I last played it, so like, it was really good. Played some Fortnite, of course. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite with you.
Yeah.
I've been going back and forth between my Xbox and the Switch 2. Both of those are pretty standard fare. I mean, what you expect out of the Switch 2 version of Fortnite, you're getting out of the Switch 2 version of Fortnite. It's totally fine. Like, it's Fortnite. It's what you would expect. And then I did trying to think of the other game that I ended up playing last night, and I cannot remember what that was. But there was another game that I ended up playing besides Fortnite, Super Mario Odyssey, Tears of the Kingdom, and ARMS. Splatoon 3.
Splatoon 3, yes, you played that.
I totally forgot. But Splatoon 3, we did a Game & Watch video on the YouTube channel. First 20 minutes of game, well, not first 20 minutes of it because it's an online multiplayer game ultimately, but 20 minutes of gameplay. I played a few rounds of Turf Wars, some Salmon Run, and a couple of levels in the story mode on the Game & Watch, and I did the same thing last night in the hour that we played, although I played a lot more of each of those modes. Really, really solid. Like, frame rate's good. I know a lot of times when I was playing Splatoon 3, there were some areas in that game that really, really chugged. One of the areas is over at the Grand Festival stage. That place always had frame rate issues, and it's significantly better. The detail on the ink is also really, really good. Heavily recommend checking that game out. It got its update last Thursday, I believe it was, last Thursday to 10.0.0. And there's a bunch of new weapons that got added. So it was really good. Of course, I played a lot of Mario Kart World. And if you guys have not, again, another plug on the Mario Kart World review, please go watch that for us. Continue to share it with your friends. Let people know about it. If you have anyone who's on the fence about Mario Kart World, point them to that review and then leave a like. But Mario Kart World's really good. But as far as like the new stuff I've been playing, that's not just older games, I did a little bit of Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour on my own. We had a Game & Watch video go up for that. Game's a game. I'd had the kids play it. I had their opinion on it. I kind of watched them play it. And then for the Game & Watch video, I played it myself. And it's bad. It's just, well, it's not... Let me correct. It's mediocre. It's mid. It's not even like, it's not so bad that I would say it's a bad game, because the game portions of it are actually kind of fun when you just do just the mini games. But it's all the surrounding stuff around it where you're having to do quizzes, or you're just going to different parts of the Nintendo Switch 2 and trying to get a badge to be able to continue on and go to the next part in the game. The mini game portions are fun. The demo stuff is cool, but it's not revolutionary. And my biggest complaint is that game just isn't a game. Ultimately, it's an instruction manual with some mini games included that also have like a really difficult difficulty curve. A heavy difficulty curve, because you go from like getting your first and second medal to then going and playing a different mode that steps up the difficulty into what you're doing in it, and it gets so hard immediately for no reason. And it's just not an enjoyable experience. Started Deltarune Chapter 1.
Yes.
I'm not doing Chapter 3 and 4 yet. I need to play through Chapter 1 and 2 again, because I've played a little bit of each of those chapters a long time ago when it first came out on Switch. And I haven't revisited those and don't remember anything from it. And at the time, it wasn't scratching the same itch that Undertale did for me. And so I kind of put it to the side and said, I'll revisit it after I've got a little space away from Undertale, because I really enjoyed Undertale. That game plays pretty different, but I haven't spent a heavy amount of time in that game, but I genuinely love what they're doing with it. And I think that game's going to be really, really good. I'm going to look back on it just as fondly as I did Undertale. I just need to spend a lot more time with it. But the game that I've probably spent the most time besides Mario Kart World in this last week is actually Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. That game's really good. That game's really good, Chris. And I'm kind of pleasantly surprised because there was a lot of complaints we heard earlier on about that game that without having the 3D element of the 3DS version of it being able to run on the Switch 2, that game kind of looked a little bit bad. And I understand their mindset on it. It definitely looks like a 3DS game to an extent, just like massively upscaled, because like a lot of the character models are very flat. Like there's not a whole lot of detail about them. And their chibi art style contributes to that, where it doesn't look that great. But the environments end up looking amazing around them, even without the 3D element on them. And so I've really enjoyed my time with that game, and I'm looking forward to playing a whole lot more of it.
I always loved the way Bravely Default looked, and like, I don't know, like something about like the low, like kind of like I think that's part of the reason why I loved the way like Final Fantasy VII looked on the PS1. I really like the PS1 style RPG characters like Final Fantasy VII, Legend of Dragoon. You know, like I loved the way Earthbound 64 looked. Just the way they looked. Like even like you know the look of that one town, like the first town you go into, and it's got the top-down view in Ocarina of Time. And it's like,
Yeah, I do actually. I think so.
yeah, just like the way I like it when like the backgrounds look really nice, but you got like the low polygon character that you have. I like that. So, I this is definitely a game I want to be playing. I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's good. Those environments really sing, and like, yeah, it is one of those things where like the game opens up looking like this, and this, if this is what you think you're getting into, it's really not what you're getting into this game. You're getting more of a chibi art style, and painterly backgrounds. It's very evocative of that generation of games that you're kind of talking about with the PS1 era. But those painted backgrounds and the way they've done the lighting just super sing. I mean, they look absolutely beautiful, especially on the Switch 2 screen itself, because I've played this game exclusively in handheld mode.
Okay, yeah.
But it's pretty on the Switch 2 screen still yet. I thought you would have something to say, so I paused for a really long time.
You paused, and then I paused, and then when you paused, I drew a blank, and then I just sat there. But yeah, in terms of games that I want to check out, Bravely Default is one. I hope we get more games. I was just saying they learned the wrong lessons and by giving us these Switch 1 games, but I really want like a bunch of 3DS games to come. I want to see like Link Between Worlds. I want to see Ever Oasis. I really liked Ever Oasis. I just want to see more games like that.
Right. I think 3DS is one of those like islands to itself. DS and 3DS games as a whole have a difficult time getting brought over because of the second screen mechanic. And it's a little sad and a little frustrating that like a lot of these games aren't easily brought over to the Nintendo Switch platforms just in general. And I really, really want to see more of these games, very much like you said. I want to see more of those games make their way to the console, because there's a lot of games that I would like to see. You know, you mentioned Link Between Worlds. There's several Kirby games that I think could make a really good splash here. Super Mario 3D Land would be really nice to see make its way there. The version of Ocarina of Time that they did on the 3DS, I would like to see brought over to the Switch as that. And it would be really cool to get some of those things. Unfortunately, I just don't know if or when they're going to do that. Keywork Savior brings up a good point in the chat. They should have done ports to the Wii U, and I agree with that, because like that's the platform that they could have done 3DS and DS emulation the easiest with the second screen experience. I don't know if you've seen, Retroid is doing a second screen accessory for their handhelds called the what is it called? I can't remember what that is called, but Retroid is a emulation device handheld maker. And the second screen is called it's a dual screen add-on. What are they calling it?
That would be something that would be nice to get for the Switch. Like, remember wasn't there like a patent or something that Nintendo filed to add a second screen on top of it with the...
Yeah, there was, and that's what I thought the top USB port was going to be for the Nintendo Switch too. And it still could be. They could still absolutely do this. But it functions like a second screen to allow you to do DS style emulation. And that's really ultimately what I want them to do with the Switch 2, is give me a second screen experience, even if it is just a second screen just like that. I would pay money for that. I really would. I would pay good money for that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, But, I mean, as we get further away from the launch, we're going to end up getting more and more, not only games released, but games announced.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of, next month we had Donkey Kong, plus we got Wild Hearts. I mean, even next week we got a game.
Well, speaking of next week, let's just jump into the fast forward. What's coming out, Christopher, this upcoming week?
You know what? I'm glad you asked. I'll be honest. I don't know which one you started with, so I'll go
Nova Hearts.
Yeah. Nova Hearts is out on June 19th. It is $24.99. It is kind of, we even talked about this ahead of time before we started the show, because this isn't the type of game that I normally play, but I enjoyed the art so much that I played it. It's kind of like a lot of reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like an adventure game that involves a lot of reading, a lot of talking. It even says in the description, uncover the hidden mystery as you text, date, and fight in a turn-based strategy dating sim. So that pretty much sums up what this game is. This is only going to be available in the Switch 1 formula, but it will run on the Switch 2. But there is no Switch 2 version. And so that'll be out before you know it on June 19th. And then Through the Nightmares coming out June 19th as well. There's a demo you can go ahead and play. That is $19.99. It is coming out, and it is actually a game. I didn't even bring this up in the show in the preview, but I've been playing this on Steam. I got a Steam code for this, and yeah, it's pretty good. I've been enjoying it. It's kind of like a 2D sort of it's like you're shifting sizes, like bigger and smaller, and squeezing through like tight spaces and things like that. Yeah, I'm enjoying my time with it so far. We'll see if it sticks with me. You know how I am. I'll play a game and then be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep playing that.
It reminds me a lot of like N Plus. I don't know if you remember that platformer but that was a very physics-based platformer. Is this game kind of similar in that sense, where it is a physics-based platformer where your inertia and momentum play a role in it, or not so much?
Yeah, you you will notice, like, depending on how you're moving will determine whether or not you'll be able to make it through. It's kind of, yeah, like maybe like N plus or um Bionic Bay, which is another um game that just came out on Steam. That is another game I've been playing and that it reminds me of, but that's um yeah, so they're really kind of like physicsy based puzzles. But yeah, um Through the Nightmares. You can go download the demo now. Don't have to wait till the 19th to find out for yourself if you think it's worth 1999. Remember, like, when Xbox Live Arcade was a thing and games were like $5,
Yep.
$5, $10,
$3,
or $15.
Yeah.
And
Now we're at the
no such luck. Yeah.
timeflation.
Golly. Okay, so here we go with this next game. Which is actually I don't even know how to. What is it? Raidu?
Yeah, it's Raidu. Raidu
It's
Remastered,
Raidu
the mystery of
Remastered.
the Soulless Army.
Yes, it is. Here's the thing about this game. Same day, Switch 1, Switch 2 versions are out. If you buy the Switch 1 version, you don't get the Switch 2 version. If you buy the Switch 2 version, you don't get the Switch 1 version. But it's
Make
the
sure
same
you're
game.
purchasing the correct version when you go in to purchase it.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. But yeah, this is just an old. Was it maybe PSP?
I think this was
game?
PSP. I'm pretty positive this was PSP. Let me look that up while you're explaining the
It might
game.
have been PS. It's either PS2 or PSP. But yeah, it's just another game in the Shin Megami Tensei series with like the Devil Summoner.
Devil Summoner.
It's Devil Summoner Raidu. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Devil Summoner Raidu Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army.
The Soulless Army, yeah. It's a revamped visuals, it says.
PlayStation 2.
Quality of life updates.
PlayStation
okay.
2, not PSP.
What did I say? Yeah. Okay. So it will very much, I mean, based on the other remasters that they have done, they usually do a really good job with them. Where they give them a lot of good quality of life features, but you can still tell the bones were in back in the PS2 or whenever it ended up coming out. But yeah, it's $49.99. This is also coming out on June 19th. This is the first. Is this the first game post launch that
This
is out?
is the first post launch Nintendo Switch 2 game available. Everything else has been launch day of the Nintendo Switch 2, and this was 2 weeks later.
And it is $49.99, or there's like a digital deluxe edition for $65 with a bunch of DLC costumes and things like that.
Keyword Xavier for a remaster of a PS2 game. It's fair, totally fair. I mean, you can get the digital version for the digital deluxe for $64.99. You know, you can spend more if you really want to.
Yeah, but do be careful, because if you do get the the Switch, not the PS2, if you get the PS2 version, they will not have an upgrade path to the Switch 2. But if you buy the Switch 1 version, there is no
you're stuck with the Switch 1 version
upgrade.
You can still play it on Switch 2, but it won't look as good.
Not the same.
Yeah. It's like buying a 360 game and playing it on your Xbox X.
Yeah.
One X.
We haven't really seen something. Well, I guess we could have seen it with Suikoden. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how many people complain. Oh, my brother, my friend, somebody I know got the Switch 1 version when I told him, do you know this is a Switch 2 version? What? I didn't even know that. Hopefully that's front and center on the Switch and not the Switch 2.
Fingers crossed. Keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping so. Before we throw it over to the extra Nintendo news section in the outro of the show, we do have a game show segment called Pixel Minute, or Pixman for short. It is a section of the game where Chris has exactly 1 minute to guess the exact name of a video game that was released this week in Nintendo history. Wasn't released this week, but maybe you know the year 1990, the year 2000, the year 2005. It could be any time in Nintendo history, and Chris has to guess
I've been
exactly.
on a streak, but I mean, I'm ready to lose.
Well, listen, you might get it. You might know it right off the bat. Who knows? But if you're playing along at home, please put your guesses in chat. Leave your guesses in the live chat. First person to get it gets the points. Points don't matter.
I've got you in full screen, so I don't see the chat.
Yep. Fair. So, are you ready, Chris?
Yeah, I'm about as ready as I'm gonna be.
All right. The faster he guesses it, the more points he's gonna get too. So, how many points do you have currently? Have you kept track?
I don't know. You keep saying you're gonna go back and listen.
I'm going back
Haven't
and listening.
done it once.
Here we go. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Here you go.
What the heck is this? Is this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, we did that once already.
Oh, you're right. Is this Battletoads?
This is not Battletoads.
No. Is this Blaster Master?
Oh my god! What the frick? I can't believe you got that. Keyword got it right before you, but I can't believe you got that from just that little screenshot. My God, look at you. 47 points going to Keyword, and 46 going to Chris. That's crazy, dude. How did you know that's what it was so fast?
Because it looked like Blaster Master, just like I could tell the red little car there. I knew that look. I mean, it was either that or Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I went with Blaster Master first.
Dude, that just blows me away. That blows me away. Just to give you guys, hey, also shout out to our audio listeners who still listen through this segment, because we never describe what we're seeing on the screen. Like, if you want to know, come watch the video version of it. But Blaster Master is a platform and run and gun video game released by Sunsoft for the NES. Localized version of a Japanese Famicom game titled Chowakusei Senkei Metafight. Or Super Planetary War Chronicle Metafight, also simply called Metafight, which was released on June 17th, 1988 in Japan. It did later come to America in November of 88 and Europe in April of 1991. This game is the first in the Blaster Master series, and it spawned 2 spin-off games as well as 2 sequels. So,
yes.
If you're craving a Blaster Master-esque experience, might I encourage you to check out Axiom Verge. But
what, Blaster Master Zero? Is that what it was?
That one also came out, but I don't count that one as much. I know. Well, listen, we got a little bit of extra Nintendo news for you guys. There's not a whole lot of My Nintendo news this week. Just a reminder that the metal display for Super Mario Bros. 3 is still available for you to purchase for 1,000 platinum points on the My Nintendo store. Surprise, surprise, Mario series icons have rotated yet again for NSO Play and Redeem. Splatoon icons will rotate tomorrow. Third wave ends tonight on the 17th, and a new wave starts in the morning. Mario Kart World icons hit the system a couple of weeks ago, and you don't need a Switch 2 to claim them, but the second wave ends tonight, and wave 3 starts tomorrow as well. As a reminder, the monthly Play and Redeem set of icons are Legends of Zelda 1 and 2. Also of note, GameCube controllers are back in stock through the Nintendo Online Store for $64.99. You can snag these one per Nintendo Switch Online account. You do have to have that Nintendo Switch Online membership. But
you have
something
to have the online or the NSO Plus expansion to get it.
I think it's just the online, but it might be the Plus expansion version. Someone in live chat will correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you will. Who knows? Yeah. But I did make a discovery. If you have the Wii U GameCube controller adapter, I was playing. I decided to test it out today because I don't have the GameCube controller yet, and I'm a lot less urged to get it because of the discovery I made. If you have the Wii U GameCube controller adapter, it will recognize GameCube controllers natively as a GameCube controller. Well, I mean, it'll recognize it as a Pro controller, but all the inputs are for the GameCube controller. The biggest problem that I had with it is it's missing the minus button and the ZL button.
And the screenshot button.
And screenshot button, game chat button, and home button. But I had my Pro controller sitting on my desk. So I ended up using a GameCube controller to play a little bit of Wind Waker and a little bit of F-Zero. And it also recognizes analog inputs for the triggers, not just the digital full-on pull the trigger. So you can do like the half pulls on the trigger. I was testing it in F-Zero GX.
Play Sunshine?
That is 100%.
Are you going to play Sunshine again when that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. I love Sunshine. But I was blown away. I was like, that's so cool.
That's
so
awesome. Yeah.
A little bit of information.
It does use, what's it called? Any NSO account. Free trial memberships don't count, but any NSO membership will get it for you. Very
cool. Very cool. Thank you, Christopher. Guess what?
What? Talk to me.
Now you can listen to Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classic soundtrack on Nintendo Music.
Goodness, I was getting tired of the dog walking music.
That just hit Nintendo Music this week. Not the soundtrack I was hoping for. I really want Mario Kart World to hit there. I need to listen to Dire Docks on repeat. But, you know, hey, that's totally okay. We did find out last week that game keycards for Capcom, as far as they're concerned, are being recorded as digital purchases. So that lends some severe evidence that it's what we expected. You know, a game key card pretty much is a digital purchase, with the caveat that you can't just play it anywhere. You have to actually carry the game key card around with you, which is stupid. But you know, I'm not going to complain too much. I'm not buying them, so I'm going all digital this generation anyway. Not a surprise.
Welcome to the team.
Right. Gully Kit, the team behind our most popular, famous Hall Effect sticks, has announced that they're working on joystick replacements for the Nintendo Joy-Con 2. So you can get some Hall Effect sticks for your Joy-Con. I would urge you be careful with anything right now that's modifying the Switch, because there's so much stuff that is bricking that console. Obviously, Gully Kit, you know, they're going to run testing, hopefully. I mean, they're a pretty reliable company. But be careful what you put into your Switch that isn't just stock as far as that goes.
Out of it,
Yep. And then Red Dead Redemption 2's John Marston, a.k.a. Rob Whitehoff, the voice of John, stated that we should expect something exciting in terms of news this week. Is it a port of Red Dead Redemption 2? Wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Select GameCube games can be played in widescreen mode if the game's options support it for Nintendo Classics. So right now, F-Zero and Soul Calibur 2 have widescreen mode support in the Nintendo Classics GameCube app, which I didn't realize, but that's super cool. That's a cool addition.
That is cool.
And as a final piece of news here, Totaka's song, an Easter egg style song that's appeared in so far 25 games in Nintendo history, which is just a simple 16-note melody written by Nintendo composer and voice of Yoshi himself, Kazumi Totaka, has been discovered by Yoshi humming the tune in the character select screen of Mario Kart World. It's a little bit difficult to hear, but if you wait and there's a gap in the music that's playing in the background, you can definitely tell that's Totaka's song being sung by Yoshi in the character select screen. Just a cool secret Easter egg. But that's all the news we have for you. That's all that we've got to share today. Remember, join us tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be live about 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That'd be 5:30 a.m. Pacific Time for the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct. Chris and I will be right here talking about it, reacting to it, and breaking it down after everything is said and done. Chris, where can they find you, my good friend?
You can find me on Super Nintendo on pretty much everything. Games to discover on TikTok. You know, just follow the link tree. You can find it.
Yeah, follow that link tree. You can find me over at nerdwireplays.com on links to all my social media garbage, but I'm pretty much Nerdwire Plays everywhere. You're going to have to find Chris at all of his things, because he's got 8-Bit Becker, and he's got Games to Discover, and he's got Super Nintendo, and he's got Chris is Becker somewhere here and there too. So, like...
Yeah.
Just go find him. You can see his link tree. He's got it all over there, as long as it's up to date. You should probably update that. And then there are links to all of our garbage. So you can catch all of our past episodes in video form on YouTube at youtube.com/at the Nintendo Rewind. Visit our sites for links to all of our social media pages at nintendorewind.com. And consider supporting the show through your memberships and merch purchases. Every dollar spent helps us continuing producing the show. Thank you guys for those who already support us. Thanks for watching. Remember, you catch us live weekly every Tuesday evening, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Twitch and on YouTube. Remember, please be kind and rewind, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Toodaloo.